Thanks everybody for joining us today. We are going to dive right into our slides here. My name is Emily Kaiser and I am the communications manager here at the Washtenaw County Road Commission. And today we are going to be talking about a roundabout that we will be building very soon at the intersection of Pontiac Trail and North Territorial Road in Salem Township. So let's get in here. Here's the agenda for today's meeting. So we're gonna go over some just brief housekeeping items. Then I'm gonna turn it over to our project managers to really give a lot of detail about what is planned for this construction project. And then we'll open it up to Q&A and we'll provide instruction at that time on how to do that. I've got three presenters here with me today. So first is Nate Murphy, and he is the primary project manager for this work. And you can find his contact information here. You don't have to furiously write it down though. We'll show this a couple times throughout the presentation today, and I'll also show you towards the end of the presentation of where you can find this information on our website. So we have Nate here today. We also have Aaron Burkholtz, who's our senior project manager, and his contact information is here. And Aaron is part of our design and construction. He oversees our design and construction wing of our organization. And we also have Matt McDonnell, who is our county highway engineer and director of engineering, and his contact information is listed here. So to just go through a few housekeeping items, as you heard as you were entering the meeting, audio and video is being recorded, and we will get it posted to WCRoads.org hopefully by this afternoon. Depends on how quickly my computer can download it after this meeting, but we'll try to get that posted pretty quickly here. And I'll show you at the end of this presentation of where we'll have that posted on our website. During our Q&A period, you'll be asked to virtually raise your hand if you want to verbally ask a question during the Q&A. Also, please note that chat is enabled for this meeting. So if you would like to ask your question in chat, I'll be sure to read those out loud during the Q&A portion, and we can do it that way. But like I said, chat is enabled if you want to do that, and we can answer those questions that come about in chat in the Q&A section as well. All right, with that, I will turn it over to Nate and to Aaron.
Good afternoon. Actually, it's still morning, 11:30. My name is Nate Murphy. I'm going to be the project manager for this roundabout construction on Pontiac Trail in North Territorial. You can go to the next slide. This is the map of where we will be. I'm sure most of you are familiar with this, but Pontiac Trail intersects there at North Territorial. We'll be doing a reconstruct of that intersection and constructing a roundabout. And the next slide shows the current state. So we have a flashing beacon there, a four-way stop, and that lends itself to more congestion. And we are using the roundabout to both keep the work or the user safer and provide a more efficient use of that intersection. So the next slide, we are building a single lane roundabout. Currently we have, you might have seen some work going already. These would have been the utilities that were relocating their lines, etc. And so the work actually for the roundabout has not yet started. We will be realigning the intersection to get a better flow of traffic, a safer alignment. We'll be installing drainage and storm sewer, constructing concrete curb and islands, as you've seen on other locations we've done in the county. Similar construction here. We'll have the concrete curb and islands. We'll be placing the pavement, installing signs and permanent pavement markings, and we'll be doing the restoration as well as the lighting of the intersection. Next slide. Here's a look at what it will look like. You can see on the south leg there quite a bit of a change in alignment, and that is to just make the intersection as safe as possible. So we will be moving the alignment. The existing road there will be obliterated. It'll be just planted with grass again, but the alignment will be shifting there on the south leg. And also at the north leg, you can see it's slightly to the east a little more. You can there on that illustration, it shows the islands that we're accustomed to at this point, and access will be maintained for all, both the residents and the businesses there. Go to the next slide. The funding for this project is through federal funds, as well as the WCRC's allocated funds from the Michigan Transportation Funds, the MTF, and the low bid that came in on this project was 1.8 million for the construction. Next slide. We will be beginning the closure for this intersection on June 13th. You might see some work prior to that. We will have a contractor on site mobilizing, moving his equipment out to the site this Friday, and we'll be doing some clearing, like mowing in some of the areas. But the intersection will be closed starting June 13th. That would be Monday, and we'll be closed for approximately 15 weeks. Next slide. Our schedule, as I said, it was 15 weeks there, is dependent upon a lot of different factors, weather being the biggest one. We just are always at the mercy of the weather. But there's other ones. We have supply chain issues, as many you've heard in the news, etc. A lot of things going on with that. Unexpected utility conflicts. You know, when we get into these kind of projects, there's always, it seems like, something that's still outstanding that can cause a delay due to conflicts from different utilities, and then just our contractor scheduling. So we do our best to keep on schedule. There are some impacts that could affect that, though. So just be aware of that. Next slide. First step will be to remove the existing pavement. This is a shot from another roundabout that we've done in the past. You can see the pavement has been removed, and grading has begun. And this one, if you go to the next slide, we will be, this is another location we did a couple years ago that kind of will look similar to this. There'll be, you know, our relocated alignment will require additional work down in that pasture area on the south leg to build up the road and in preparation for the construction of the road. So there'll be, as we realign, we'll be backfilling and compacting material to prepare for the new roadway surface. Next slide. Then we build up the roadbed with the sub base and then to the base material, the gravel material, and that upon that we compact that, and then we would be placing the curb. In the next slide, you can see the curb going in, and at the same time we'll be putting in the drainage structures, the manholes and the inlets that will help control the water flow. Here you can see the curb is being formed there. They will place the forms there, and then they'll pour it, and then from that point we'll be adding the asphalt. If you go to the next slide. Sorry, that's yeah, so here's placement of, that's the concrete being placed for the curb. And then the islands, so we have splitter islands here. You can see this is a picture of a splitter island, and those will be filled in with concrete as well. We'll be using a red dyed concrete and stamped on this one, so it'll look like brick. The red is used to make the island more visible as you approach the intersection, the roundabout. It gives a visual cue. So we do that just to help facilitate the, you know, just so you can see it as you approach it. It's easier to be seen. Next slide. This is a picture of the center island. We will have a solid concrete center island on this one, and it will be stamped as well. This allows, you know, the trucks that would come through that can't quite make it. We have what's called a truck apron, and it allows the truck to get through the intersection, driving up over portions of the center island. We will have this in concrete as well, and it will be stamped and colored as well. This maintains the distance, sight distance. Let's see, wait a minute. will not be doing any landscaping on this one. You might have seen in other locations around the county, they have sometimes we put in a center landscaping area. This one will not have that. Okay, next slide. After pavement, the permanent signs will be placed. All roadside ditches will be completed. That'll help finish the grade there and make the drainage flow properly. You can see in this one, there will also be the lights added so that the intersection is properly lit for the user. Next slide. So the pavement markings you can see in this one will have the arrows, will have the yellow and the typical yellow and white stripes. And again, the street lighting will be added to that provides a certain level of lighting so as to keep the roundabout safe at night. Next slide. We just want to talk a little bit about the closure. We will be doing a hard closure on certain legs. I'll show you that in a map in a minute. But these closures are for the safety of the workers, and we want to make sure that all traffic is kept outside of the work area as much as possible. We are we do our best to close it up so that there's as little traffic moving through there as possible. This is a safety issue for the workers, and we try our best to keep as many people out as possible. At the same time, we will be maintaining access for local residents that are within the area of the work and the businesses, and I'll talk about that in a minute.
And Nate, I know you're probably going to talk about this too, but it's a safety issue, but it's also a efficiency issue. So if we can limit the traffic going into the intersection, then that can really help us to speed up construction, right?
Yes, correct.
So we can do it safer and we can do it faster if we do it this way. So.
Correct. Okay, next slide. Okay, so our detour that we have posted, as these are paved roads, we are keeping all of the posted detour on paved roads, and it goes Dixboro to Plymouth Road, going north to Curtis and over to 6 Mile. That's our posted detour. We are out there, our contractor is starting to get those signs in place right now, but that will give guidance to the user as they approach this location. And those are all paved roads. So, for trucking, etc., we try to make sure that the posted detour is on the same material as the road that we're closing. Next slide. Okay, as I mentioned, we will be hard closing, we'll call it, certain legs of the intersection, while at the same time providing access to the businesses and the homes that are within the area. So Edith's Market is on this northwest quadrant. We have the Flower Bar on the northeast, and then there's a dental office in the southeast that we will be maintaining. The Edith's Market and Flower Bar, we're maintaining the traffic for them through the north leg. So coming and going from those locations will be from the north, and for the dental office will be from the east. Where there's a red line there, we will keep traffic from moving through the intersection, and that will, as we mentioned before, it will help for safety and for efficiency. Okay, next slide. We'll be coordinating the mail delivery and trash pickup for those that would be impacted, making sure to get those all, still get them into the needed locations for your mail delivery and your trash pickup. And then once the work is getting closer to the end, we'll be doing the restoration to put areas that have been disturbed, restore them back, plant grass, etc. Next slide, please. We have coordinated with the different work that's going on in the county. We have some seal coats going on. We have pulverizing and overlays that you can see in this map here, and limestone overlays. We are coordinating that internally, and we'll try to keep the impact from that work to minimize the impact. And so these are other locations that we are working on this summer, and wanted you to also be aware of that.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in this area this summer. So that seal coat will happen, probably why we have this, almost definitely why we have this intersection closed, the Rushton Road, limestone resurfacing. So we just want people to be aware, like Nate said, we are trying to coordinate this as best we can, but we have a limited construction season here in Michigan. And so there is going to be a lot going on. So we just want people to be aware and to keep that in mind as they're traveling around this area. We'll show you how you can find out information about when each of these projects are happening. But we did want to talk a little bit about that today. So there's a lot going on, right, Nate?
Yes, thank you. Yeah. Next slide. So here is my contact information. If anyone needs to contact me, I'm happy to help you as much as I can. So give me a call or give me an email, and I'll try to help you out. But we're looking forward to this project, and you know, I believe that it will be a great improvement to the area, and look forward to getting it done.
Thanks, Nate. Aaron, I'm going to show the group how they can find the project page. Is there anything you want to add before I end the slideshow for a moment to go to the website?
Yeah, thank you, Emily, and thank you, Nate, for your thoughtful presentation, providing the information for all of us. A couple of things that I will highlight. Emily, could you flip back to the detour, to the posted detour? And just to highlight what Nate had mentioned, when we set the detour up for a project such as this, this being a paved intersection, we sign the detour along other paved roads. And he mentioned that in part that's done for trucking. We want to try to keep those trucks along a paved route, as well as people that are unfamiliar with the area, keeping them on the paved roads. Certainly, we realize there are other ways to go around the closure that would include unpaved roads. And those routes certainly are a shorter distance. And people that are familiar with the area, that are local, oftentimes will follow those unpaved routes. We really can't restrict movement along those unpaved roads because they are county roads. They're public roads. They're open to the public. And so we can't restrict the movement along those alternate routes. We will be continuing to communicate here at the Road Commission between the engineering department and the operations maintenance department. We've already had conversations with our superintendent, with our district foreman. We're certainly being mindful that there could be additional traffic loads placed on those unpaved roads. And so that's something we're going to continue to communicate about. Also, I'll mention Nate had shown the limits of the closure. Maybe you could flip to that slide, Emily, for me. And again, we show the areas where there's going to be what we refer to as a hard closure. And that's where those red lines are. That's going to be a hard closure. We want to keep traffic out of that area for the safety of the road workers and to promote the efficiency, the efficient work on the project. From the east, in addition to maintaining access to the dental office, we will be maintaining access to Dutch Hill Drive. Dutch Hill Drive is a private road, so the Road Commission does not have jurisdiction over Dutch Hill Drive, and that's something we'll be speaking with our contractor and subcontractors about staying off of Dutch Hill Drive. That's something that had come up previously during the utility work on the job. Was unfortunately, despite the Road Commission advising the utility owners of the need to stay off of Dutch Hill Drive, some disregarded that and they parked equipment and vehicles on Dutch Hill Drive. We are talking with our contractor and subcontractors in that regard. But again, Dutch Hill Drive access will be maintained, but only from the east. So those residents that live along there are going to have to come home from the east end of the project. And the last thing I'll mention, and Emily, maybe you can go back to the slide with the closure, the example of the closure with the barricades and the caution ribbon. We will be working with local law enforcement. We very much appreciate and value the support of local law enforcement when we set up these type of closures. And for motorists that may be inclined to move barricades, to continue to drive through the closure area, we will be working with local law enforcement. That's done not out of spite, but that is done again to ensure, to promote the safety of the road workers, to promote the safety of the motorists, and so we can efficiently complete this project. So working with local law enforcement is an important component in that closure. So just 3 of the items I noted, Emily. So if you could move forward with the remainder of the presentation, that'd be great.
Absolutely. Thanks, Aaron. So let me pause my screen share here for a second, and I'm going to show on our website, which is wcroads.org, how you can find out more information, where we're going to post this project recording from today, the slides from today, and also we'll be posting project updates. So again, our website is wcroads.org. And so there's a lot of great information. Shameless plug. We're updating this daily with all sorts of information. There's a great FAQ section if you're ever curious about whatever different topic related to roads. We do have a current projects map. So if you go under this road work and construction, or if you just scroll down and want to explore our map here, I'll take you to the same place. And this shows all the major projects that we have coming up this year, going on this year. So each of these on this map, each of these blue segments or red dots are a project that's happening on a primary road throughout the county. So as you can see, we have a lot of blue and red going on in this area around this project. So I'm going to click on the Pontiac Trail Roundabout. And this is the project page. I have a link to it in the chat. I will add that, another one right here, so you can have that fresh in the chat. And this is where you can find Nate's contact information. This is where under helpful links, we will post the slides from today, the meeting recording from today. You can see we held a design information meeting about this project last summer. If you're curious about why a roundabout or just wanted to dive more into the design details of this project, we'd encourage you to check that video and those slides out. But this is where we'll post the slides from today's meeting, the recording from today's meeting. Here, this area here, we'll put project updates. And if you are subscribed to receive updates for this project via email, you should have gotten one yesterday where we sent out some information. We will be posting updates throughout this project so you can see as we're progressing how we are going about this roundabout construction. If you want to receive those via email, all you have to do is just click this subscribe to project updates button, and that'll take you to our subscription page. So just enter your email address. Another shameless plug, we do email advisories, not just for big projects, but for road work that's going on. We do a weekly road work schedule. You can subscribe to receive any or all of that here on this page. And so if you only want to receive updates about road work going on in Salem Township or in Northfield Township, you can click just which township you want to receive. We've also got all the different projects that you can receive individual project updates about, or our different types of email, our weekly roadwork schedule, advisories about weight restrictions, and just customize your subscription there. So again, you can find that right on our website, which is wcroads.org. So let me get back to the slideshow here. And with that, we will dive into our Q&A. We have had people coming in and out. So before we jump into the Q&A, Nate had a few of the FAQs that we thought might come up that we just wanted to quickly go over. Again, the closure length, we are starting this road closure on Monday, June 13th. So just a few days from now, and we expect it to last about 15 weeks. We always hope we can get it done faster than that, but that is our expected time frame right now. There will be no through traffic during construction within the intersection itself. But we will, as Aaron and Nate have both talked about, we will provide access to the businesses and residents within the construction area, but no traffic will be able to traverse the intersection itself. So with that, if you would like to ask a question, now is the time. We have had a couple questions come in through chat, so you're welcome to keep those coming and I'll read those out loud. If you would like to ask a question verbally and you are joining us from your computer or smartphone, you'll just have to click the join audio, which it looks like I think everybody has. So make sure you've joined computer audio, and then you want to click the reactions button and then the raise hand button. That may be at the bottom or the top of your screen, depending on what version of Zoom you have. So just look for that reactions and that raise hand button. And if you've called in today from your touch tone phone, to raise your hand, you just have to dial *9. And what will happen is we'll alternate between questions in chat and people with raised hands, and we'll just go through. There is no time limit on your questions, but we do ask you to be respectful of everybody else on the call, and we'll try to get through as many questions as we can today during our meeting. So with that, we can start with our Q&A. And we've got 2 hands raised, so we will start first come, first serve. Let's see, Jim, you should be able to unmute yourself now. Jim Carrier.
Hey, can you hear me?
We can, yeah, go ahead with your question.
Mine's just a simple question. Between Dixboro Road and where you want to hard stop the construction, there's 3 driveways. And I got to believe it's similar on Pontiac Trail. I live on North Territorial. Is there a possibility of moving that hard stop up to the intersection of Dixboro Road at both on the south on Pontiac Trail and on the west on North Territorial? Because there's going to be traffic coming who are unaware of the closed road until they're right up against that hard stop. And that being the case, they'll start using driveways to turn around. And I think you could avoid a lot of people turning around in our driveways by just stopping at Dixboro, and they'd have to make a decision which way to go on Dixboro. I think that would help out a lot for all the people involved with driveways in those 2 areas.
Okay, thanks, Jim. That's a great question. Nate, do you want to talk a little bit more? Because what we're showing on the slide now is the hard closure, like we said, with barricades across, but we're going to have a lot more advanced signage further down on all the legs that I think will hopefully help with this situation Jim's concerned about. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, Nate or Aaron?
Yes. So yeah, exactly that. We will have a lot of advanced signage that will guide them so that they will know that it's closed. The hard stop or the closure there is particularly there on the south leg there coming up on Pontiac Trail, I think is what you're saying, right? On Pontiac Trail that you're worried about?
Yeah, I can go to the full detour, Nate, if that would help. I think that's what he was saying, yeah.
Yeah, so we will have the hard closure there just past that barn for people to get access to that barn. But before that, there will be plenty of signs that will guide people and let them know that there is a closure coming.
And there'll be some barricades across parts of the road. We still have to allow people through, right, Nate? But it'll be very clear if people are paying attention that the road is closed ahead. So hopefully to try to avoid that driveway turnaround situation, right?
That's correct.
And I think too, and I don't know if Aaron, you want to speak to this, but I think we often see the first couple days after a closure, it is people don't know what is going on. And then a few days in, they really start to settle in. And so you may see some driveway turnaround. Like we said, we're going to have a lot of signage out there to try to prevent that. But generally, we see people kind of settle into the habit a couple days into a closure. Is that right, Aaron?
That's correct, Emily. And I was just going to mention the same. It certainly is a valid question in regards to people turning around in driveways, turning around places that really shouldn't turn around. We will have, as Emily and Nate mentioned, we will have advanced signage. We'll have right there coming from the south, coming up Pontiac Trail, right there at Pontiac Trail and Dixboro Road, there will be a barricade there that says road closed, local traffic only. And there will be motorists that will choose to drive around that barricade and continue on just to see if they can get through. That typically will stop after about the first week. Despite our best efforts. And for instance, right now we refer to them as portable changeable message signs. Those are the large electronic boards that we put out there. We've had some on-site advertising this virtual meeting. We're going to change the message on that later today, and it's going to be informing passing motorists that the intersection is going to close on Monday, that they need to be prepared for that. Sometimes we wonder if people read those signs, and that sounds terrible, but that's the reality of it. Because come Monday, we will close the intersection Monday morning, and there will still be motorists that have driven through the intersection many times over the last week, and they still have not realized that there is something going to happen. So the first week is generally the most challenging. And after that, as Emily said, after that first week, people typically fall into the routine and understand that road closed really means road closed.
Okay, all right. So let's go to a question in chat, and then we've got a couple more raised hands. And Dan asked a question. I think he asked it before we got to it, but his question is, when you say the intersection is closed, is that to all traffic? So it's kind of what Aaron was just talking about. Yes, it's closed to all traffic within this area that we're showing right here. And yes, it is closed to all traffic. If you live within this area, we can get you to your home, but there's going to be access restrictions like we've been talking about. So yes, it is closed to all through traffic and all traffic at the intersection itself. So yeah, we can't stress that enough. So that's a speed thing, it's a efficiency in completing the intersection, but it's also a safety thing for our employees. So all right, Celia's got her hand raised. Celia, you should be able to unmute yourself now.
Hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead with your question.
So we own Flower Bar, and last year at the design meeting, we were assured that we would have cut-ins so that people on both sides of our building could get into our parking lot from either side. And we were also told that by the people that we've spoke to since then, and I don't see that on the layout because that will be absolutely detrimental to our business.
Celia, you're talking about on the layout here?
Yep.
You're saying, oh, Nate, this might just be the design hasn't been updated on this slide. It's a good question, Celia. Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Yes, we do have a driveway on both sides that will be constructed. It does not show up on here, I apologize. But this was just to kind of give an overview, a bird's eye view. But yes, there will be a driveway access for you on both the north leg and the east leg.
So people can turn left from Pontiac Trail into our parking lot.
Pontiac, yes. Yes.
Yeah, that'd be Nate, and again, Cecilia, appreciate the question. It's Nate, what she's asking is people that are coming southbound on Pontiac Trail, that if they want to go into the Flower Bar, they can turn left and cross the splitter island to go to the Flower Bar. And Nate, as I recall, Nate, that is on the plan, if I recall correctly. Is that the case, Nate?
Am I muted?
Yeah, your volume's kind of going in and out a little bit, Nate.
So there's the driveway. I wish I could share this screen, but
Oh yeah, Nate, we can't hear you.
Nate. So Cecilia, I'll double check and make sure, but that's my recollection is that for your business, for the Flower Bar, we have a drop in the splitter island, both on the east leg on North Territorial Road and on the north leg on Pontiac Trail. But Cecilia, I'll double check that. And if you could go ahead and just put your like email address in the chat, or if you could send it to Nate, we will be sure to check that and then follow up with you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. That's huge.
Yeah,
Sure
thanks
thing.
for bringing that to our attention, Celia. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So we've got a couple more questions in chat. Jay asked a few questions in chat, but he also has his hand raised. So I'll let him raise his hand and just we'll go through his and when he raises his hand. Let's see. Tara in a chat is asking about increased maintenance on the unpaved roads around the closure. And she's specifically asking about 5 Mile Road, but is looking and there's a few questions in here about increased maintenance to those unpaved roads that are probably going to see additional traffic, even though they're not the posted detour.
Yeah, and Emily, that goes back to what I mentioned previous, that we're certainly aware of the fact that traffic is not going to necessarily follow the posted detour along the paved roads. They may use the unpaved portions of 5 and 6 Mile. They may use the unpaved portion of Dixboro Road. And the engineering department, Nate and myself, will continue to work with our operations department, our superintendent, and our district foreman to respond to areas that may be in need because of that increased traffic volume. So certainly something we're going to be monitoring throughout the project. Again, what we need to do is for about the first week after the closure, we need to monitor and see which direction traffic starts to move in. And then we can respond appropriately. We don't want to respond in a knee-jerk way where the first couple of days people are still finding their way around, but something certainly we intend to keep track of and respond to.
Yeah, and they're not going to be, perfect roads with that increased attention, but certainly something that we'll try to do our best with, right, Aaron? Okay. All right. So we've got Jay has his hand raised, and as I said, he had a couple questions in chat. So we'll have him go through his questions here. Jay, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Never done that before.
There you go. We can hear you. Go ahead with your question.
No, this is really for Nate and the design guys. Recently I'm a resident on Pontiac Trail, and recently we had a semi truck that got stuck on the roundabout on the island at 7 Mile. Okay. And Pontiac Trail is a major truck thoroughfare because it's about the only thing that connects Ann Arbor to South Line. And it receives, I'd hate to count the number of gravel trains and heavy equipment haulers and all those things that go past my home every day. But what has been considered in the design of this roundabout that makes it different so that those, I'll specifically refer to low boys hauling earth equipment, can get around this roundabout without getting stranded on the island?
Yeah, and that's something, Jay, we do review that during the design process. As we work with our design consultant, we look at turning movements for various types of vehicles, various size trucks. And one of the things we incorporated into this roundabout, and it'd be similar to 7 Mile and Pontiac Trail, is we have a mountable curb in that central island. And the idea is that a truck coming into that roundabout that needs to make a turn has the ability to mount that central island in order to make the turn because of their wide turning radius. This one is also, it's a larger diameter roundabout. So by its size, this roundabout that we're going to construct at North Territorial and Pontiac Trail is a larger diameter, a larger size, and that provides more area for that truck to make the turn. I'm not aware of the specific instance that you're referencing. Sounds like maybe a low boy moving a piece of construction equipment was the culprit there at Pontiac Trail and 7 Mile. That's the truck that got stuck there. But again, we have looked at for North Territorial and Pontiac Trail turning movements through the design process, as well as constructing a larger radius roundabout. So
okay, well, I appreciate the larger radius, but we probably have 10 to 15 low boys a day go down Pontiac Trail that are hauling large excavators, rock trucks, et cetera, because of all the construction that takes place in South Line.
Sure.
And we will strand a triaxle semi truck and a triaxle trailer on that roundabout at some point.
Well, and again, that wouldn't be our expectation, Jay. And I really, we can't completely account for truck drivers that may not possess the experience needed to appropriately operate their truck. Again,
this guy was appropriately experienced, and he was belly up on the island at 7 Mile.
Well,
anyways, second question: what are we doing? There were a lot of questions about the unrestricting or unrestricted illogical unpaved detours. Again, a lot of truck traffic on Pontiac Trail. Is there any restrictions that are being placed on commercial vehicles where the commercial vehicles that, as an example, continue north from North Territorial on Dixboro to 5, I am also property owner on 5, are restricted? Are we going to have the Waymaster out here or something? Because all of those gravel roads have posted weight limits.
Yeah, and I believe, Jay, I'd have to look at the truck operators map. I'd have to reference it. But I believe some of the unpaved roads in that part of the county are restricted roads. Those are no through trucks. Those would be township-based restrictions. And so based on the fact that those are restrictions that have been set in place by the township would have to provide the enforcement needed, the law enforcement needed to stop those trucks, to advise them that they need to take a different route. Certainly, we've been in communication with Salem Township. They're well aware of this project coming up. And that's something that we can talk to them about, is the concern of.
Well, I understand Salem Township has no police. Dixboro Town, or the township, Northfield Township, I don't believe has any police. And Dixboro Road is the township divider. So there's going to be people trying to figure out who do they call. And my call will go to the Washtenaw County Police, who then will probably send it to the state police. So again, that needs to be considered, because back to the earlier question, the maintenance on 5, we spent millions of dollars rebuilding 5 Mile Road from Pontiac Trail to Dixboro last year. Millions of dollars. We hauled thousands of loads of gravel in to rebuild that road. And that will all be destroyed if commercial trucks use that road as the detour.
And my expectation, Jay, again, as I mentioned before, is that the trucks are going to understand in fairly short order that the intersection is closed, that they need to follow a paved detour. That'll be the detour that's signed. Certainly something we can do to supplement that is appropriately locating those electronic message boards, placing those further out to provide even more advanced warning to specifically trucks that they need to follow the posted detour, and that keeps them on the paved roads. Again, in regards to those unpaved roads, they are public roads. So short of it being a no through trucks restriction on a road, the commercial traffic has the right to drive those roads as long as they do it in a responsible manner.
Okay, last question. On the north leg of this construction zone, with the detour starting at 6 Mile, right?
Correct.
Is that where the road will be partially closed?
What we would do at 6 Mile is, again, if you're approaching from the north, coming southbound on Pontiac Trail, as you approach 6 Mile, there would be a series of advanced signs telling you road closed ahead, detour ahead, and then there will be a barricade with a road closed to through traffic sign, as well as a detour arrow directing people to turn. So we won't put a hard closure there because we have to allow people that live within that area to get in and out. But there will be a barricade with signage indicating to oncoming traffic that they need to follow the detour.
No, it goes to the same question of all 4 legs, is that there will be some type of closure sign partially blocking traffic on each one of these legs at the point of the posted detour, right?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, so at Curtis, there will be one for eastbound or westbound North Territorial. At Dixboro, there will be one, and on either end of Pontiac Trail. Because again, I'm one of those guys that's like the second driveway north of 5 Mile. And if you put that closure at 5 Mile, all those people are going to be turning around in my driveway. And that's a safety issue for the homeowners. So we talk about safety for the road workers. We have to also talk about safety for those people that might become in harm's way based on the traffic changes. So,
well, and Jay, we appreciate all your questions too, and that's why we've got Nate's contact information and Burke's or Aaron's. So if you've got concerns once things have started, and it takes a few days, like we said, for that traffic to really kind of figure itself out, please let us know, and the adjustments to signage can be made if appropriate. But we certainly appreciate your concerns. Let's keep moving through our questions here, though. Let's see, we've got a few in chat. We've got, talked about grading. Marianne is asking a little bit more about the detour. We just talked a lot about that. Let me go back to that here. And she's asking about the detour for North Territorial Road. So if people are traveling on North Territorial Road, what is their detour? This detour really looks like it's for those traveling on Pontiac Trail. Nate, you want to talk a little bit about that? Well, hopefully your mic's working.
Can you hear me?
It's better, but you're still a little quiet.
Okay, I'll try to speak up. Yes. So
Yeah, sorry, Nate, we can't hear you. Burke or Aaron, can you help us out? I'm sorry, Nate.
Yeah, Emily, ask the question again, please.
Yeah, so Marianne, she feels like this map looks like the detour for Pontiac Trail. If she's traveling on North Territorial Road, is she following the same detour route?
That would be the case, yes. Essentially, if she would be coming along North Territorial, when she gets to, let's say she's coming from the west, coming eastbound on North Territorial, when she gets to the intersection at North Territorial and Dixboro, There's going to be a barricade there that says road closed. It's going to have an arrow that points to the right that directs her south. And then she would follow Dixboro Road south all the way down to Plymouth Road. And then there will be another sign there that tells her to turn left. She would proceed eastbound on Plymouth Road. And then there would be another sign there at Curtis Road that would tell her to turn left. And then she would go north on Curtis to bring her back to Territorial. So again, there would be that advanced signage for the traffic on North Territorial Road as well, letting those motorists know that the road is closed ahead and that they need to follow the sign Detour.
Okay, and I appreciate that feedback, Marianne. We can clarify the detour map a little bit more on our website to try to help clarify that too. So we appreciate that feedback. All right, so here's a comment and a question about Stephanie, or from Stephanie. So in her opinion, she thinks that Pontiac Trail and 7 Mile Road roundabout is too small. As we talked about, this will be a larger radius. It's still a single lane roundabout, but it'll be a slightly larger radius than that one. And kind of the questions about taking, when we were designing this roundabout, did we take into the speed of cars traveling on some of these roads into account as we were designing? And I think, Aaron, you talked about that, where we really did. And we can't design for every single situation that a driver may present itself or the decisions that a driver may make, but we do our best and look at it as a very broad scope. So we appreciate those comments, but we'll go to the next one. This question comes from David, and he is asking, it seems like we really, to help alleviate congestion, that we would really need another roundabout at the intersection of Pontiac Trail and Dixboro. Do we anticipate, do we have a date? What are our thoughts on that?
Emily, that has been brought up previous, that with the recent construction of the roundabout at Pontiac at 7 Mile, this season's construction at Pontiac and North Territorial, that admittedly, the traffic volumes at Pontiac and Dixboro are quite high. It's a very busy intersection. This whole corridor, there's quite an uptick. That peak hour traffic is very substantial in the morning, in the evening. Again, we are certainly evaluating that intersection at Pontiac Trail and Dixboro, but ultimately it boils down to funding. We have to have available funding, and based on evaluating both of the intersections for this season, the priority was to build the roundabout at Pontiac Trail and North Territorial Road.
And we don't have any funding identified for another improvement. Doesn't mean that it won't ever happen, but we don't have anything identified. David asked about next year, and so we do not have anything planned for next year. This project, we've been planning this project for many years, so these types of improvements take a lot of money and a lot of planning. So we love roundabouts. We're glad you do too, David. We're certainly trying to find funding wherever we can to build them where they make sense. So okay, this question comes in from Jan. And Jan is wondering what will be done to the pavement that's removed from the old section of road that Nate was talking about. What happens to that pavement?
Yeah, and so that pavement would be, again, what we would foresee is the contractor is going to mill that pavement up. They're going to remove it with a mill machine. The mill machine would grind the material up and load it into trucks. And then at that point, that material becomes the property of the contractor. The contractor, by the effort to remove it, they then own that material. Oftentimes, the material will be trucked to an asphalt plant, and then that is reincorporated into new asphalt. There's a certain percentage of new hot mix asphalt that is, and it's called recycled asphalt material, RAP, recycled asphalt product, and they put that back into the new asphalt. So again, the short answer is it becomes the property of the contractor, and then they take care of that. They truck it away.
Okay, thank you. A couple more questions in chat here. Shannon is wondering if we could describe the lighting plans for the intersection.
Nate, go ahead and let's see if we can hear you.
All right, how about that? Is that
That's
okay?
better, yes.
Okay, so yes, we will be adding lights. I believe on this one we have 6 lights that we'll be putting in. And so they will be dispersed around the roundabout in order to provide a uniform light level throughout the intersection. So we work closely with DTE, and they actually perform the design and install the lights. So the lighting will be around around the perimeter, and will provide a uniform, as much as possible, uniform level of lighting.
Okay, thanks, Nate. Glad we got your mic working. Let's see. This is a question. Oh, David wanted to just make a comment that Northfield Township does have a police force. And so he just wanted everybody to be aware of that. Jay asked, and we get this question a few times whenever we're building a new roundabout. Jay likes the signs that say, use your turn signal when you are using a roundabout. Is that a sign that we will be installing at this roundabout?
No, we do not have that sign on this one.
I think that sign was a trial period that we're testing out at another roundabout in the county. We're glad that you like it. It's something that we're definitely looking into, and it doesn't sound like it's part of this plan, but certainly something we're monitoring for a performance factor. All right, so this question is from David, and he's asking what resources are available. There still seems to be a lot of people who don't understand how to properly navigate a traffic circle or a roundabout. What resources are out there to help them learn the correct way to drive through them? We agree, David. We're happy to help. We've got a lot of information on our website of how you can navigate roundabouts, where roundabouts are located within the road commission. There's a lot of great information out there, and we have done a lot of outreach over the years to try to help with new drivers in driver's education, and older drivers who maybe it's been a few years since driver education. So we're trying to do our part. We appreciate anybody else's help in trying to help educate the public about roundabouts. At least in Washtenaw County, we're seeing a lot more of them over the last 10 years. And so people are getting more used to them, but there is still a learning curve for that. So please check out the information on our website. It's under our FAQ section. Okay, this is a question from Jan, and it's about drainage. So she said that Nate spoke about sewers, our storm system. There are no sewers in Northfield Township. So where will the water runoff go when we talk about storm water management here?
Right. Okay. Yes, correct. We're not going into a sewer collection system like in Detroit or something. What we will do is we'll be collecting the water, the runoff through the roundabout. As we're adding paved surface, there's more water that we need to be able to funnel off of the roadway, and it'll go into a catch basin, which is a little opening in the side of the curb there, and it'll go down and be outletted into ditches that will be created along around the roundabout.
Great. All right, we got another vote for the turn signal signs at roundabouts. They're a big fan, so we appreciate that. We're glad to see some roundabout fans out there. Let me go through. We've gotten through all the questions in chat. Let me go through the instructions again here in case there's anybody else that wants to raise their hand to ask a question. If you are joining us from your computer or smartphone, you can join us you can ask a question by clicking the reactions button and then the raise hand button at the bottom of the screen. If you are on your touch tone phone, you can dial *9. And then if you want to ask a question in chat, you can do that too. There's a couple ways that you can do that. So with that, last call for questions. We do have Nate's contact information here. Again, you can find that information on the project page. We really encourage you to subscribe to receive those project updates, and we'll send out an update on Monday once the road is closed. And we'll send out an advisory ahead of it today, actually after this meeting. So please subscribe to those, add your email address on our website. If you've got any other questions, reach out to Nate. Nate, Aaron, it looks like we've gotten through all of our questions. Is there anything you guys would like to add as closing thoughts?
Just that we're looking forward to getting this project done, and let me know if you need anything.
And we appreciate everybody taking the time today to attend the meeting. And we look forward to getting started on this project and making this improvement for the motoring public.
Awesome. All right. I think we've gotten through all the questions. Thanks, everybody. We'll get the recording and the slides posted hopefully by this afternoon. And like I said, we'll send out a couple advisories as we get closer to the start of this. So thanks, everybody. We hope you have a great rest of your day.